At a time when most families are divided, Southern cooking is bringing them back to the table. Tonight's Entrepreneur Sunday spotlights the Booker family, a husband and wife team turning ordinary meals into flavorful masterpieces. Claude Booker, a classical chef, shares his secret to cooking the food. As we say, he put his foot in that food. He shows you how you can prepare those Southern meals at your home. Booker, welcome to BNC, and thank you so much for joining us for Entrepreneur Sunday.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm looking forward to talking with you.
And so, Booker, we're excited to hear all about your soul food starters, but I know your love for soul food began in your grandmother's backyard, which actually helped cultivate your career in culinary arts. Tell us a little bit about your story.
My grandmother, we call her Grandma Nellie, and she'll be 100 this June 21st. But in that garden, we grew probably 25 to 30 different items. Everything from green tomatoes, okra, black-eyed peas, you name it, and we would can everything. And Grandmama was she was just such a great cook, and she allowed us to kind of experiment. I mean, I learned how to make chow and bread and butter pickles at the early age of 9, and didn't really go to a grocery store that much because we kind of lived off of the farm.
Wow. So how did that help develop into what you have today?
I didn't appreciate it as much until I really got to culinary school. But, with my grandmother as well as my father allowing me as a little boy to stand on a step stool and watch Grandmama cook, and then Daddy would let me. I wasn't real tall, so, they both get a step stool and let me watch them cook. And so when it was time for me to go to culinary school, I didn't know the right culinary terms, but I knew how to make a roux. I didn't know it was called a roux, but, I learned so much from them. And it just really had me. I don't want to say I was light years ahead of everybody, but as far as feel and that love and soul, I think I was.
Yes, that love and that soul. Well, I also love how you've actually found a way to give back. Talk about your experience being the first Black teaching assistant at Johnson & Wales University Culinary School, and how this has helped pave the way for future students who actually look like you and I.
Yeah, so that was exciting, and you could tell that when I got there, because now I'm Southern. I'm from rural South Carolina going to New England. And once they got over my Southern drawl and stopped laughing at me, they were so proud that a Black person was actually doing the teaching. And I was in charge of creating the menus for the students. So for them to make crawfish etouffee or, gullah red rice, things that they had never made before, they were all excited, and they were very proud about it. And a lot of them learned to do a lot of things that, orally in our Black community, we had passed down for generations. Like, a lot of the guys, especially the white students, macaroni and cheese was noodles with sauce versus, traditionally how we had always made it. So not only were the Black folks proud, I think the white students were pretty impressed too.
Wow, I can only imagine. I remember the first time I had macaroni and cheese. So, you've actually created pantry-ready seasoned kits. The kits are tailored to fit each family's taste and preference. I was looking at your website. You got the peach cobbler, the candy yams, macaroni and cheese, as we just talked about, all of the good stuff. Tell us about your kits.
So one of the things I always would laugh when, people would want to cook soul food, the greatest cooks never could give you the science of how much. And so as a culinarian, I said, look, I'm going to demystify soul food. And so what I did was every single kit has all the essential things, like the macaroni and cheese. I went ahead and put the milk, the eggs, all the spices and seasonings, so you can't mess it up, because you live and die by that custard to make soul food mac and cheese. And then on our vegan version, so you didn't have to worry about a blender, I put the nutritional yeast, the carrots, the potatoes, all of that to just make it so simple. But you still have to choose your own cheese. If you like cheddar, if you want 4 cheeses, you choose that. So we still had it where you still can give it your magic and your love. But we demystified the scariness of soul food.
I love it because it just reminds me of when my mama said, my grandma used to say, just eyeball it to figure out what you got to put in it.
Well, we put the science in it, but still with the love.
Yes.
You can have all other stuff, but we got it down to a science.
And Booker, your Soul Food Kits help support Black education, which is awesome. Tell us about Booker's Soul Food Education Fund.
So, the good Lord did not bless me and my wife to have kids, but I'm everybody's favorite uncle, and she's everybody's favorite aunt. And so, I get to go to college weekend because my parents don't like to travel, and so I always got to go because they didn't want to go. And I just said to Crystal, when we're gone, we want to have something that's a legacy fund to help every Black student that we can touch have the ability to go to college. So that was really the main thing. And then growing up, I never got to take college preparatory classes and things like that, and wound up being Omega Psi Phi's National Research Scholar. So it just proved that if you give us a chance, we can overcome things. So education is just a big part of what me and Crystal hope will be our legacy long after we're gone, with this product still impacting our community.
Yes, and that is so important. So lastly, Booker, the big question that you got to tell all of our viewers, where can they actually find your stuff?
Well, I'm super excited. So we're a brand new brand. So Stop and Shop, which is, in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, we come online with them in May, and I'm excited because those are, two big DMA markets. But right now, you got to go to soulfoodstarters.com. But, God seems like he's about to pour out a Joe blessing on me, and we're talking to a lot of national retailers. And so you'll be able to find it. But right now, soulfoodstarters.com, and we'll ship it safely to your house.
Awesome. Well, we are touching and agreeing on that, and we're claiming it.
All right.
Well, many blessings to you and your wife, Booker. Thank you so much for joining us for Entrepreneur Sunday.
Thank you for this blessing to be a part of the program.